get right to it. I love to talk about Birmingham, and I love to talk about economic development and the issues that I think are impacting us most as we look toward future economic growth. And thank you very much for having this conference. This gives our community an opportunity to listen and think through some of the issues that help make communities better. It's not all about just marketing. In fact, that's really my message to you today. It's not a question of getting bigger. It's a question of getting and being better. To me, that's what economic development is really all about. Some of us who work in economic development call it smart development. Quantity gives way to quality. But quantity is also important. We measure economic growth in many, many different ways. Typical measures are numbers of jobs and income levels, and there are other ways to do it, numbers of companies. But these result in ways that we ultimately measure our quality of life, the quality of life for all citizens to enjoy. And to me, that's the ultimate measure of economic development. And you know, people ask, well, how are you going to know when the job is complete? I can tell you, it's never complete. Economic growth for any community, any state, any region is an ever-changing, ongoing process. Whenever you solve one issue, another one comes along. When you address one opportunity and hopefully reach success with it, another opportunity, or hopefully many more, will come along. And that's the same for Birmingham and the 7-county Birmingham region that we serve, just as it is for any other place. Leadership, of course, is a key ingredient to making good things happen. And that's what really separates many communities and regions from one another, how good they are at recognizing their opportunities and doing something about it. So, quality development is something that most communities undertake in different ways, but how do you understand what's really going to define quality? Well, the thing that I like best about Birmingham, and I'll comment in just a moment about our business plan, which is called Blueprint Birmingham, is that it's not just a growth proposition. Our organization and our business plan are keenly focused on economic growth measured in terms of jobs and income levels and numbers of companies that expand in many, many other ways. But what I like best about it, and the way it separates itself from the plans that many other metropolitan areas have, is that we're focused not just on growing the community, but making the product that we market every day better to be marketed. And that takes us into issues that I know you've already discussed some today, like transit and workforce and education and parks and recreation and leadership and many, many other things that all comprise the ingredients that make great communities even better. And I think we are one. That doesn't remove the fact that in order for companies to grow and look favorably upon coming here, and equally if not more important, our community to be better at generating what we now call organic growth, the startup of companies here, the nurturing of small businesses, and definitely the sustainment of any existing business that we have. A consultant friend told me a long time ago that good communities make great plans, and great communities make good deals. And that's really what it comes down to. I think many of you probably recognize economic development as being an occurrence when a major international corporation announces its plans to locate in Alabama, or perhaps you read about the incentive deal, the incentive package that helped support one of those projects, the recruitment of a Mercedes, or a Honda, or a ThyssenKrupp, or a large employer like that. And it is those things, but it's many, many other things that happen behind the scenes and long before the incentive packages are put together. Today, this week, our state legislature is debating incentive opportunities. Two bills in our House of Representatives, House Bills 159 and 160, if you want to look it up or follow it in the newspapers, that are critical to our future economic development. Being smart and nimble and having the ability to make deals when our prospective new and expanding companies give us the opportunity to make deals with them are absolutely critical, and we have to be very, very good at doing that. Each of our communities throughout the state, and certainly here in the Birmingham region. But at the same time, I believe that it's more important, even more important, for us to take care of those issues, I called them ingredients earlier, that make an already good community even better. And here again, I'm talking about workforce and transit and other quality of life issues that are not just important to quality of life, they're important to business as well. The Birmingham Blueprint Strategy focuses on a number of things, and as I said earlier, it's the best economic growth plan that I've ever worked under, and I've been doing this for quite some time, because it helps focus on the product. So we look not only at marketing and image development and issues that try to project the Birmingham region in an appropriate way to the people who are making decisions about where companies will grow and where employees will relocate to or expand to, but we look at issues that help make our workforce better, our education systems better. We spoke of transit earlier, and transit and transportation and all of the regional dynamics that impact the Birmingham area are critical to us every day. There's hardly a day that goes by that I don't hear somebody say, what are we going to do about 280? And we do need to do some things about 280. It needs to continuously change and improve. But I would remind all of us, the reason that we have what some people call congestion on 280 is that a lot of people are going to and from work. And just imagine the alternatives. A mayor of another city said a long time ago, a traffic problem is not when you have congestion, it's when you can go lie down in the middle of the road and not get run over. But it is true that in Alabama, and certainly here in the Birmingham area, we have this huge, huge appetite to get in our own cars every day, not on bicycles and not walking typically, but get in our own cars by ourselves with our cell phones. I know you all don't use your cell phone while you're driving and don't do any texting. And that's how we get to and from work. And, you know, if we can't drive reasonably close to our place of employment and park near the front door or at least in a garage nearby, we kind of feel like we're inconvenienced. Well, try that in New York City. People don't live that way. We have a mentality in Alabama, an entitlement mentality from a transit standpoint almost, that we're going to get close to the front door by ourselves with the convenience of our cell phones, whatever devices that we're using, and that's part of our quality of life. I'll even go so far as to say that I think that the fact that the average commuting times in the Birmingham area, which are 24, 25 minutes, which is not great, but it's probably pretty good. It's defined by, oftentimes, by where people want to live. And we all know that people commute in the Birmingham area from 1 to 2 miles, from 1 to 2 counties away. In some cases, that's 50 miles or even more. Well, that's by choice for them. It may be because they grew up in Chilton County, but their job is in Birmingham and Jefferson County, or it may be that their job is in any of the other counties in the surrounding area. Estimates nowadays are that about 48 to 49% of the adult working populations in Shelby and St. Clair counties, and I'll just use those two as examples to our south and east, commute into Jefferson County every day. The regional dynamics that we all work under are a factor in our future economic growth and obviously a factor in improving our quality of life and something that needs constant attention. Other factors that are affecting us, I referred to some of them earlier, are transportation and logistics. Birmingham is a regional choice. In fact, it's a national leader in transportation and logistics because of our railroad and other surface transportation capabilities here. But the issues that really matter the most when it comes to our future growth and companies being here and continuing to select Birmingham and the Birmingham region as a place where they want to grow come back to workforce. And it's not the quantity of our workforce. We're a sizable place of almost 1.2 million people in the region. It's the quality of our workforce, as defined by those who have been educated here and also those who have moved here. Our Blueprint Birmingham strategy, which after all is the economic growth strategy for the area, focuses on industry sectors and the jobs and careers that come with those industry sectors that we think are most appropriate. This again is part of the smart economic growth strategy. Not trying to be all things to all people, not trying to attract just anything that might come here, but being careful about what we want. Are the industry sectors that we focus on, and they are, closely aligned with our workforce advantages? Do they take advantage of the space planning that we have undertaken, the business and industrial parks that we have in the Birmingham region? Do some of them provide good job opportunities for downtown Birmingham, which we are also concerned about? And are they environmentally conscious employers? The kinds of companies that any community would want to have, those that undertake environmental stewardship measures and have a sensitivity to other quality of life features. Well, part of Blueprint Birmingham is a focus on industry sectors that we think align very well with who we are and what we want to continue to be. And basically those are office and administrative, finance-related operations, science and technology, especially in the life sciences and information technology, just to name a few. And then in manufacturing, there are a wide variety of manufacturing sectors that are appropriate for the Birmingham area, led today by automotive and many others, automotive parts manufacturing. And steel and specialty steel manufacturing is a big, big part of that as well. It's all a matter of economic growth that we believe will create the best job and career opportunities for people who want to live and work in the Birmingham area. With all of this, in all of this economic growth environment that we work within, there's a prevailing issue that touches us every day, and that is image. It's the image of our state, the image of our community, our region. It's an image that is held by people who are anywhere in the world. I mentioned earlier those people, those consultants and business executives who make decisions every day about where companies like Mercedes and Honda are going to build their future facilities and employ thousands of people. Those are jobs that affect people, that affect so many lives and families every day. But another part of image is our self-image. And somehow self-image ends up having a residual impact on people who aren't here and how they think about us. In other words, if we think positively about ourselves, then others will pick up on that. And that's extremely important. And I want to tell you that there are many, many reasons, you all know this already, those of you who live and work here, that there are many, many reasons that Birmingham is positioned for future outstanding growth. And those reasons have been here all along. And part of our work at the BBA is to discover and uncover some of the things that probably haven't gotten as much attention as they should have in order to help us put our best foot forward. One of those, for example, is the existence of over 700 technology-based companies in the Birmingham region. We've researched that, and it's a fact that many people wouldn't know that. They tend to think first of our large employers, and they don't really characterize the community necessarily as a technology-driven place, and certainly don't understand that we have that many technology-based employers. But that's a fact. And coupled with that, and in fact one of the reasons for that is one of our gold nuggets, Innovation Depot, located in the city of Birmingham, the #1 technology incubator last year. So self-image is important, and how we deal with what I referred to earlier, regional dynamics, how we plan and work together. I'll tell you, I hope this really hits home for those of you who are residents here of the Birmingham area, because this is important to us in economic development. If you live or work, if you work in Jefferson County, for example, and probably most of you do, but you live in one of our other regional counties, let's say Shelby, it is important to you, or it should be important to you, that Birmingham City schools be outstanding. If live in Birmingham and your job is in St. Clair County, for example, you should feel the same way about St. Clair County and Pell City schools. That's the regional dynamics that we live in and work in every day. And while we may have over 100 units of government that provide necessary public services, we are a regional economic entity, a singular regional economic entity that should think in a singular way when we project our community and our region's image, and therefore starting with our self-image. In other words, let me take that a step further. If you live in Chilton County, should you be concerned that Mayor William Bell is an outstanding person and a great leader? You better believe you should be. If you're a state legislator from another county in Alabama, should you be concerned with the economic and financial well-being of Jefferson County? You bet, because we're all in it together. And that's why you see so much in the news nowadays about Birmingham's efforts for not only economic development reasons, but the preservation of our quality of life, to take good care of who we are and what we are financially. So again, so many of these issues do come back to workforce and jobs. If people don't have jobs, it's really hard to think through the importance of the other issues that I've been talking about. But when we do have great job and career opportunities, and I'm talking about the kind that not only pay well, that give people, but that also give people the satisfaction of doing what they want to do in life, I think it's a responsibility of an economic development organization like ours, the Birmingham Business Alliance, to carefully think through and understand these issues. And as I said earlier, make sure that what we're going after, what we're trying to achieve in growth, does match well with what the community wants. And sometimes they don't necessarily understand what they want until it's presented to them. I know that happens. You know, people didn't necessarily know that they wanted to go to work for Mercedes until that deal was made and the company is here and thousands of people have jobs as a result. And now they want to keep those jobs and we want more of them. That's really, really exciting when those things happen. I want to begin to close, but I can't share these thoughts with you without mentioning incentives. I talked about deal making, and sometimes these deals that you read so much about come down to, guess what? Money. Somebody told me one time it doesn't matter what the question is, the answer is money. Well, that is true in many respects, and I guess I've probably been trying to sort of confound that notion as I've talked, but we have to be really good and prepared at making deals to land companies to come to Alabama, and specifically come to the Birmingham area. Otherwise, they're going to be in the states that we compete with every day. And those states are very good at what they do, just as we are. So the ever-changing world of finance incentives and economic development is something that we have to embrace. And if you don't know much about it, it would be very, very quick to assume that, well, that's corporate welfare, we shouldn't be doing that. Well, first of all, it's necessary to be competitive. If we didn't have, I'll just say it this way, the legislature is now debating some of the critical finance incentive legislation that we need in Alabama to continue to remain competitive. We've been through 4 or 5 generations of incentive legislation since the early 1990s. Sometimes the best way to understand the situation is to kind of take it away. So let's just pretend for a moment that we had not enacted the legislation beginning in the early 1990s that enabled Mercedes to come here, and in the late 90s for Honda to come here, and Toyota and ThyssenKrupp and Hyundai and others. Where would we be? We wouldn't have the same aspirations for future economic growth. We'd be more concerned about quantity than quality, probably. And our image as a state and as a community would suffer along with it. We'd be wondering, how can we do something right, as opposed to how can we continue to improve based upon what we already have. So as you watch that legislation being debated, I hope you'll support it and understand it, because it is very, very important to us. So I'll close by saying we're a great place a great place for a lot of things, but certainly for economic development. We are cost competitive, but more importantly, I would say to you that we are quality competitive. And the leading reason that when I came here 11 months ago to work in economic development, and someone from the media stuck a camera in front of me, or microphone in front of me, and said, what's the number one thing on your list? I said then, and I'll say today, it's UAB. It's because UAB is the single most important advantage that Birmingham and the Birmingham region, and to a great extent Alabama, has in pursuing world-class, quality, smart, technology-driven economic growth. Thank you very much.